need help.
Go.
Come on, y'all, it's time.
Come on, let's go. Let's do it.
Rolling on the road
With the doc,
rolling on the road
with Dave,
rolling on the road.
with the doc.
100 shades of the versatility with Dave and Dr. Barrington.
All right. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that was nice.
Well, Dr. Kimberly, we're live.
We are live. I am so excited. Wait a minute. We got somebody missing off the screen.
Uh-oh. No, we see all four of us with our special guest, our Lieutenant Governor, Garlin Gilcrest.
Do you see him?
How you doing? Yes,
Yeah.
how you doing?
We are doing excellent. But again, we were just before we came on air, we said we need technical help, and Dr. Kimberly has lost your image, but I see you just fine.
I am glad to be here with you. Both of you.
Welcome to Rolling on the Road. Yeah, Dr. Kimberly and I have been rolling together since May of 2020. I don't know if you heard of a thing called the COVID-19 pandemic, but yes, we were inside, holed up, and said we have to get the word out how to help, and we've been doing that. We've continued the conversation, and we are so excited that you're with us today to join in this conversation.
If you are watching on GRTV, today is Wednesday, February 28th, and our special guest is, yes, everybody put your hands together, for our Lieutenant Governor, Garlin Gilcrest. He is an African-American man, and his hair is probably just as short as mine, and he is wearing a pair of nice big round glasses. He has the biggest smile that you could ever think of. It's one of those big Kool-Aid smiles. And we have Mr. Dave Bukowski. That's Pastor Dave, as we affectionately call him. He is a white male. He is wearing glasses as well. He has shoulder length curly hair. And guys, can you believe it? He's got a tie on today. He dressed up for the Lieutenant Governor. We know, yeah. And he has this sky blue shirt on. Looks really great on him. He looks good with his tie and shirt. And then you have me, Dr. Kimberly. Yes. Okay, wait a minute. I have no hair. And so my eyelashes are making up because they're really long for not having any hair. And of course, I have on glitter that matches my sweater that I have on. And it's a wonderful shade of purple because you guys know that is my color. So we want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. And Doretha, it is on you, ma'am.
50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity.
Take it away, Dr. Kimberly. We have ended the clip.
Okay, I don't think that was the one that I was looking for, but we have two questions. Our first question is, do you believe that Black Michiganders have been able to realize Martin Luther King's dream? And number two, when he gave that speech in Washington, there were more than 250,000 folks that followed him there, but they had a list of demands that sometimes gets overlooked because they get so focused on that I have a dream speech. Dave, let's see. He has provided us with the list that nobody but God could read. But we do have the list. And you want to name off of a couple of things, Dave?
Well, I mean, to set up easy ones for the lieutenant governor, public transportation, access to public accommodations, opportunities to vote, a minimum wage, and fair labor standards. I mean, those, again, as Dr. Kimberly said, we keep pointing out that the I Have a Dream gets everybody emotional and people get fired up, and they forget about the reason that folks went to DC and why people keep going to DC and to Lansing. And so take it away.
First of all, Dr. Kimberly and Pastor Dave, thank you for having me here today with you all as a dynamic duo and with all of your watchers and listeners. It is really a privilege to be here with you. And Dr. Kimberly, anytime I get to spend time with you is a good day. For those who don't know, I haven't had a haircut, so my hair is a little longer than hers today. But when I go to the barbershop, we'll be a lot closer. So let me get that out of the way. I appreciate your questions. And to the first one, to whether Dr. King's dream has been realized, both in Black America and for Black folks in Michigan, I think the answer is that we are getting closer. We are continuing to get closer. There certainly has been progress made since the 1960s, thanks to the efforts, the blood, sweat, and tears, the effort and ideas of activists, agitators, advocates, of women and men and children, of Black people and Black allies. We have seen progress. For me as a Black man to have gotten a high quality public education here in the state of Michigan and been able to attend the University of Michigan and do so on scholarship is an example of a pathway to that kind of educational opportunity that may not have been as accessible to someone like me before.
Lieutenant Governor, is it just me? Are you sideways? Is he sideways? Or is it just me?
I don't turn sideways.
What?
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Oh, now you went back. Oh, there you go.
There you are.
All right. Sorry, folks. Again,
no problem.
Technology.
We love it. We love it. This is real TV. I love it. But we're getting closer to the dream. And that dream really was about providing access to opportunity for everyone equitably, recognizing that talent exists in every person in every community, but opportunity was not available to everyone because of racism, structural and interpersonal, because of prejudice, structural and interpersonal. And I think we've made a lot of progress on it. And certainly Governor Gretchen Whitmer and I are using the tools that the people of Michigan have given us to make sure that access to opportunity is more available. And that is why we have, worked to do things like make childcare actually affordable. We're proposing preschool for every 4-year-old. We've increased education funding for K-12 education more than it's ever been increased in the history of the state of Michigan. We're going to provide free breakfast and free lunch for every child in a public school in the state of Michigan. Every kid who graduates from high school in Michigan is going to have access to free community college and an associate's degree. And we're just also putting money in people's pockets, straight up. Working people who cannot afford to make ends meet still. We've added our working families tax credit to put money in their pockets. And so that at a time when things are expensive, you can have enough money for gas and groceries and school supplies. So, I also think that's important as part of the dream that we recognize that some of it has to do with people being able to put their ideas into the world without fear of discrimination or retribution. We had so many industrious Black Americans who were building economies that were, unfortunately limited from their access to markets because of racism. But those Black entrepreneurs still found a way to thrive in our own communities.
Well, and the part of history, since this is Black History Month, that we pointed out, some folks have been shocked at the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa race riots, where not only limited from opportunity, were unfortunately killed and just awesome Black economic community destroyed.
It's horrific.
Yeah, and that's only 100 years ago.
Yeah, it was a horrific chapter in American history, and I think it's important that people are aware of that. I actually was really proud to see that, you know, President Biden actually early in his administration went to Tulsa to highlight what happened there, because I do think a lot of Americans are not familiar with that history. But what that also speaks to is the opportunity. So, for example, last year in 2023, I worked to create something called the Michigan Economic Opportunity Fund, which was a $10 million fund of state resources with other partners that specifically existed to support entrepreneurs of color, Black entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs who are differently abled, entrepreneurs who are veterans, who otherwise were not able to get financing from a bank, to get financing from this fund to start or grow their business. When we talk about the elimination of economic opportunity, that's what Tulsa represented in the most violent possible way. We want to talk about the creation of opportunity. That's what the Michigan Economic Opportunity Fund represents. So that's an example.
So how can
the tools that we have.
Okay, so how do we connect our viewers, you know, with that fund? Is it in each city? How do they access that?
Michigan Women's, the Michigan, the MWF.org, the Michigan Women's Fund has been our fiduciary partner for hosting the application for the Michigan Economic Opportunity Fund. That's MWF.org. That is for Michigan Women's Forward.
MWF.org.
Yes, ma'am. And they've been our partner to house that. And again, this is monies for, again, businesses that are started by entrepreneurs of color, those who are differently abled, veterans, and women, all categories of people who have been historically left out of opportunities to get loans from banks to start businesses or to grow businesses, to get funding. If they have a technology company that needs venture funding, these are people who have historically not gotten that kind of funding and support to grow their businesses. Well, I think it's part of my responsibility to deliver a change toward that, through good government that can build health and wealth. That's part of what I want to deliver.
Awesome.
MWF.
And as we like to point out, that's not a head start, that's leveling the playing field. As you pointed out, there's been generations of disinvestment or non-investment. And so how do we continue to level the playing field? And that's an awesome piece of that.
That's right.
That is correct. www.mwf.org. So we have it right there on the screen so that you can copy that down. We want to say good afternoon to Miss Verencia Williams, to Shana Thomas. Shana is all the way in Baltimore. No, she is in Bel Air, Maryland. And she says hello to you. She's been waiting for you for like a week. And we want to say hello to Heidi DeVries, who is watching the show. So thank you so much for tuning in. We're just excited to have you here. And I do believe that you and Governor Whitmer have been an example, the same way that I believe that Dave and I have been an example to the community, how we have come together, as Black and white, to show that if we bring all of our resources to the table and we share our toys instead of hoarding them, that we get so much more done. Because we have been on for 4 years now. And wow, we finally got the lieutenant. No, I shouldn't say finally, but we have definitely worked our way through building up our brand and our credibility to be able to make the phone call to Lansing to say, hey, can we have the governor or the lieutenant governor come on our show? And this is what we want to talk about.
Well, I have to say that I'm really proud to serve alongside Governor Gretchen Whitmer. This is a woman who absolutely has a heart for all of the people of Michigan and wants to see all of us be our best selves and be successful. Part of the reason that we do the work that we do is because we want to open wide the doors of opportunity to a bright future in the state of Michigan. And we realize that people have been discriminated against for far too long, for far too many reasons, because of the color of their skin, the sound of their accent, the God they do or do not worship, the person whom they love or the person whom they are. And we've worked to end that kind of discrimination. We've expanded our state civil rights law in the last year to have explicit protections for the LGBTQ plus community, to explicitly ban discrimination based on hair texture through the Crown Act. This is civil rights law that is being expanded to cover more people in Michigan and protect them from more harm. as a result. That's been a priority for our administration and a priority for the Democratic majority in the legislature in 2023 and 2024. We're going to continue to march forward in that way, inspired by those who led the civil rights movement.
Well, we greatly appreciate you, and we don't want Owen to, smack her hands because he's waiting, doing like this, like, okay, the time. But we want you to know that we appreciate you coming. And this show will air on next week on Monday at 2 p.m., Tuesday, 6:30 p.m., and Thursday at 8 p.m. on GRTV. So those of you who didn't get the chance to watch the live, you can always, if you don't want to wait for the replay, go to YouTube, and our channel is 100 Shades of Diversibility, and you'll see the same logo and a picture of Dave and I there. So you'll know you are in the right place. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know you have a very hectic schedule and you have about 10 more things to do before 6 o'clock.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me, y'all. This is tremendous. Congratulations on your platform, and it continues to grow and flourish.
All right. Next time you're in Grand Rapids, give us a heads up, and we'll love to gather a crowd to hang out with you some more.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. God bless.
All right.
All
thank
right.
you.
See you.
Hey, Dr. Kimberly. Awesome work.
Well, we worked that thing. So,
but we have to make one quick correction, because Owen did point out it's miwf.org. So it's like MIWF. So we'll get that up and change for you folks. So if you go to MWF, who knows where you're going, but it is MIWF for Michigan Women's Forward.org. So yeah.
Okay, hold on.
As
Let me
Dr.
edit.
Kimberly does that, I'm just going to keep saying again. Oh, got an MI.
I'm trying to edit it, and never mind. You can't do that.
All right. It's a wacky. Hey, folks, we started the show with a request for technical support. So if anybody's out there that wants to do some interning, awesome. Heidi gave some great comments about some great amens to what the lieutenant governor said, working on especially the free meals. There, we got it, miwf.org. So people got that. Oh, Heidi's got so many words. You don't see us, barely over the fence, Dr. Kimberly.
Okay, there we go.
And yeah, housing. We didn't get to housing, but that 15 minutes flew faster than fast. And so Heidi, don't worry. September 23rd, shameless plug, there's going to be a housing and disability and housing forum. It's going to be an all-day opportunity. So September 23rd, Heidi and Tammy are actually on the planning committee as well. But you'll get more shameless plugs as we get closer. A lot happening with, again, on housing and making sure that it's accessible from the beginning. We don't have to go back and retrofit it, because why pay twice when you can pay once? So
we want to say thank you to Katrina Couch. She was like, thank you for all that we do. And you are so welcome. And we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate everyone who tuned in today to see the lieutenant governor. And
hello from Vertanji. Absolutely. And March 8th, Heidi, March 8th, we'll get the out. If anybody's in the area, now, of course, we can't give this invitation nationwide to our whole viewership, but we do have a group that meets monthly that focuses on how best can folks with disabilities get engaged in housing development and making sure as much of that development, if not all of it, is accessible. It is 2 weeks from, actually 1 week from Friday, Heidi. So it's the 8th, always the second Friday. And sometimes the calendar throws us curves, but reach out to me via our platforms or at Disability Advocates to get hooked up to our housing effort, our transportation effort. We've got an employment effort going on. Back to those demands, it's like, it's great that the lieutenant governor, he talked about Black Michiganders. Michiganders, regardless of their sexual orientation or their gender, and differently abled folks. So people with disabilities, because that's what we've been working on, access to healthcare. You know, we started with access to the right information about the COVID pandemic. So all of those things they're working on, we want to keep rolling and rolling on the road with us. So yeah, keep tuned. Shameless plug for us.
Oh no, I lost Dave. Where'd Dave go? Uh-oh. Well, I guess he'll be back in a few minutes, but we want to say thank you so much, Sean, for watching. Sean says, gotta have a house or some other physical structure. He says, gotta have a house or some other physical structure to have housing. Let's build them. All right. Look, hey, Sean's watching.
Sorry for disappearing. Did I disappear?
You did.
Sorry. I don't know what I did, but StreamYard didn't like me. But I'm back, and to say, reach out. So the second Friday of every month, 1 o'clock in the afternoons, our housing group. There's tons happening in transportation. Last shameless plug, I promise, Dr. Kimberly. 3 weeks from tomorrow, not tomorrow, 3 weeks from Friday.
On Friday.
March 22nd is our annual Disability Awareness Day, focusing on mental health. And if you're a person with a disability, how are you taking care of your mental health? No matter what your disability is, your disability could be a mental health condition, could be a physical disability or any other disability. What's the mental health ramifications, and how do you take care of yourself? Good nutrition, good exercise, making connections, bunch of breakouts. Come on down, Croc Center. Check out our website there up underneath me, www.dakc.us, to get all the information. I'm just filled with shameless plugs today. We get all excited with the Lieutenant Governor here.
Boy, he's just
rattling. Envy of action, Dr. Kimberly. We've been saying that, though, forever.
Well, our first donation went really well to Gilcrest Club. Got a wonderful letter here from them. So we want to say thank you for their wonderful letter and all that they're doing. And we are pledging to do 168 meals. And so in April, let's see, March is Women's History Month. So we go from Black History Month into Women's History Month. We're going to have some great women here. You're going to be surprised. Yes.
I'm not going to be surprised because we have nothing but great women here. So we're going to continue our streak. You know,
so we're going to have some great folks. We're crossing our fingers that we can get one young lady who worked for President Obama. So we're going to do like this. And she is the first deaf and blind person to hold that type of job. So I'm excited.
Nice.
And we're going to cross our fingers and our toes and our nose. Let's see, how can we do? Oh, well, yeah. Yes. So, but we have some great folks on the horizons just waiting for callbacks and text backs, email backs. Yes. For the month of March. And then in April, I think we're going to start our live cooking show with let's grab Chef O and go over there to Gilda's house and prepare some meals.
Awesome.
So yeah, if there's some young, middle-aged, you don't have anything to do, come on, go down there with us to the Grand Rapids Community Center, and let's learn how to use those cameras so that we can take them over to Gilda's Club and videotape this and do this live. Get a free meal. Look, get a free meal.
And it's Chef O cooking, not me, so it's going to be an awesome meal.
Awesome. What Heidi is chitty chatty today. What are you talking about today now, chat? What did she say?
Cooking on a shoestring would be nice.
You know what? We will ask him, because one of the things that we wanted to do that I spoke with Gilda's Club about was to be able to put some of the meals together, do meal prep, and then freeze them so that they could take them out, and then they would cook them when they were ready to cook them.
Awesome.
And they thought that was a pretty good idea. So we'll ask Chef O if there's some 3-ingredient items, or maybe even there are some people who like to shop at the what is it called, Dollar Tree or Dollar General. And so if you're buying food from there, let's find 3 or 4 ingredients where he can make us a meal. Let's see, what do we have? What did she say?
She says, like making a 3-course meal on a large jar of just peanut butter. Or just, I don't know. So,
not while I'm drinking.
And so, and I mean, I hope he gives us nothing against Dollar General or those stores, but, you know, processed foods, you know, we'll have to get a nutritionist on to talk about processed foods, because usually
I can't eat them.
Yeah, they take all the goodness out and then they put artificial goodness in there, which makes no sense. So he can show you that. I mean, and unfortunately, like I heard a story once that a food pantry gave away like 5-pound bags of potatoes, and people are like, what do you do with those? You know, and so if you can't cook a potato, you know, I mean, that's back to our conversation yesterday with Pastor Gaddy, that people were never habilitated. They weren't taught how to cook a meal.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
That was a great conversation that we had with him yesterday.
That's, one of my claims to fame, though my wife probably gets more credit, is, you know, all our kids know how to cook well. And because, you know, they help with meal prep and they know how to, you know, make the basics and beyond there. And then, you know, the middle kid worked in a restaurant, and I should say he worked in the kitchen, because our daughters worked in restaurants, but on the service side as opposed to the kitchen side. And so he learned some tricks. And so, but it's all having fun, because then there's cooking classes at adult ed in your various communities. I know, for example, Down Syndrome Association. And then what's this? Heidi says, and what about the home folks who live in motels with no cooking facilities other than a microwave? Hey, that's absolutely critical, and trying to figure out how best to get those nutritious meals. So if they're unhoused folks in a hotel, are they getting like Meals on Wheels or senior meals if they're older than 60? Actually, Meals on Wheels delivers to anybody with a disability under or regardless of their age, based on income. So again, it could be, you might just use that microwave to warm things up as opposed to cooking from scratch. So there's definitely opportunities. And if you are, you know, if Dollar General's the only thing in your neighborhood and you have to go there, hopefully Chef O can tell us, you know, things to avoid and things to go for, because there's probably some good stuff there, I hope. So, but anywho, get out there. I was going to say Down Syndrome Association. I know Autism Support Kent. They do some cooking classes. Our kitchen at the Special Olympics campus is kind of, well, it's not kind of, it's been demolished because they're remodeling it, and they just started construction 2 weeks ago. But once it gets back into commission, there'll be some additional cooking classes out on our campus. So anyways, a lot of good stuff happening.
And breathe.
All right, well, I'm done.
Really? You don't have anything else?
Oh, I got tons more. I keep reading Heidi's stuff here. Talking about the Kroc Center did a nice cooking class. Hey, speaking of the Kroc Center, March 22nd, Disability Awareness Day. How'd I work that shameless plug right in there?
Always. You do it
Dr.
well.
Kimberly, you better get the hook out and put an end to this, because we'll go on and on and on.
Well, I will be there right alongside Dave, rolling on the road. We'll be there. And we'd love to have you come over and say hello to the people. And we're just going to kind of go around and show everybody. What did she say? Of course.
Plan on bugging you, Dave. Oh, come on, Heidi.
Oh,
Most important, speaking of, folks with limited means, if you go to our website and you want to register for Disability Awareness Day, there is a suggested cost of $10. But if that is at all a barrier, because we're talking about mental health, we don't want to add stress. So don't hesitate to ask for a scholarship. We got plenty of sponsors. That's what helps pay for the day. So if you need a scholarship, just ask for it. No questions asked. We don't ask you to
tell them
verify income.
Tell them that you heard it on Rolling on the Road, and we're paying for 10 people to go.
Rolling on the Road's paying for 10. And if you say you heard it on Rolling Down the Road, we'll throw in 2 free bus tickets or 2 free Go Bus tickets. We don't do mileage reimbursement, but we do bus tickets. Do not hesitate to ask for bus tickets as well. So
if you say it, then you come with you get the ticket and a ticket to get in.
And ticket and 2 tickets.
Yep.
Because the Croc Center, they say you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Anyways, stop me, Dr. Kimberly.
You are just so full of it today.
I don't know. I ate some. My wife, speaking of cooking, she made some homemade granola. I don't know if she put something in it that was like something special.
I don't know, but I'll be by to pick up some of that. I love homemade granola.
All right.
I like it in the little the yogurt bowls that they make at Tropical Cafe. Shameless plug. For Tropical Cafe. Now they would give me a free smoothie and a yogurt bowl for telling them yes. They would. I love them. And they get here in like 5-10 minutes after I hit Uber. I'm like, yes. And it's so funny because they know me so well. The guy goes, I know. You need the drink first because you put it right here, because I come in the Bentley to the door, and he'll say, okay, I know you need your drink first and then the bag. And I was like, do I order from there?
It's just good people. They got good service.
I thought, oh my gosh. And then, I love it. The other day when I ordered my smoothie, the guy, there were boxes on the porch and I didn't know it. And so he rings the bell and he goes, hey, you got boxes. If you take the drink, I'll bring the boxes in. I was like, oh, thank you. But it's just nice to be nice sometimes.
It is.
And it's amazing how when you're kind to people, the way the kindness will come back to you. It comes the way that you need it. It's not always the way that you gave it, but it's the way that you need it. And to have somebody bring boxes in for me off the porch is definitely exactly, how I need it. And to hand me the drink first so I can kind of tuck it on the side of the wheelchair first and then take the bag. So for people to remember that when they come and they deliver, that means a lot to me. That means a lot, because some people who don't care, they just shove everything in my face and I'm just, okay, I got to work my controls with my right hand. And I can't do that if you hand me everything at the same time, because I need to back up some anyway. But it's just nice when people are nice. Even like if I take a Uber and they wait. You remember how your parents used to wait for you until you get inside the door and then you have to flip the porch light to say, okay, I'm in. Yeah.
Nice.
I appreciate that when they do that too. Or they say, you know what? I'm going to push you up there. You don't have to go up there by yourself. Except for those that look at me. Okay, I'm about to have one of my moments. I want anybody who's in a wheelchair to chime in on this one. Now, you know where I live, Dave.
I do.
There's nobody out there but me. I'm sitting in the middle of the street in the wheelchair, and the driver will pull up and say, are you Dr. Kimberly? Yes. Does that chair need to go too?
I'm going to leave it here on the side of the street.
So what am I supposed to do? Just leave it here? Because if I'm going to the VA, then I'm right there, right across from my driveway. And, there's nothing but that hill that takes you up to 68th Street. And my thought is, so I'm just supposed to leave it on the hill and get in, and that's just it. What did Heidi say?
I hear you, Doc. Look at that.
Oh my gosh. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, what am I supposed to do with this wheelchair? And the last guy that brought me home, I had fallen asleep in the Uber. I wake up and I said, "Sir, you're not going the right way." He says, "Shush. I'm listening to my directions." I said, "But your directions told you to get off like 2 exits ago." And he goes, I know what I'm doing. I said, "Obviously you don't." And I said, "You went 2 exits too far." So he kept saying, "Shh, I'm listening to her." I said, "But sir, you did not listen well, because now we're down here like at 70, 80 something street,
84th, and you're the one who has to pay.
So I was not happy. And I was like, he's not getting a tip today from me. And no, he's not getting 5 stars. But if you come to the Croc Center on the Go Bus, you won't have that problem. What did Heidi say?
Heidi said she gets that crap all the time. Had it yesterday at the doctor's office. People don't want to listen to people who know what they're talking about.
No, and I had to go to the hospital last week, and so I caught the Uber, and I got there, and we're good. Somebody else comes back to pick me up, and he looks at me and he's like, "So why are you taking these people's wheelchair?" And I said, "This is my wheelchair, sir. This is how I get around." "Oh, where were you expected to go?" "That thing is not gonna fit in my car." I said, it folds up." "Oh, okay. All right. Just as long as it folds up." The next thing I know, he just like throws it in the back, and I hear him shut down on my tire, and I was like, "Oh God." So can we do some sensitivity training with Uber?
Well, we can. The downside of Uber, and this is at least from my perspective, is that they're all independent businesses. And so like Uber, I wonder what kind of training Uber has for their drivers.
I don't know.
But then again, they're not their drivers, but I know a long time ago, because as I noted, we do some transit advocacy around disability advocates, and we know that Uber has cut into some transit rides, which, people find it more convenient and people have choice. And so you want
to know why that happens? Is because our wonderful transportation people like ride, we're not going to mention any names, but those couple of them that you like to say, "Oh, try them." Do you know that they don't expect us to go anywhere after 5 o'clock? Is what they told me.
I know
that. "Oh no, we don't expect you to go anywhere after 5 o'clock." I said, "Did you just say that to me?" I did say that. "We're not trying to offend you. We're just telling you what the reality is." "Well, I'm sorry, I don't know whose reality you're living." I said, "But I go many places after 5 o'clock, and they wanted to charge me $252 to take me." There was an event that you guys were having, and it was after 5 o'clock, and I was going to take, it was Invest in Ability dinner. And it was going to cost $252 to go, because they said they don't do anything after 5 o'clock. And so I would have to pay $100 an hour for someone to sit and wait. And I said, "Well, why can't they leave and come back?" And they said, "Because they don't have anything else to do, and that would be a waste of their time."
Yikes. And that's why, folks, starting next month in Kent County, Michigan, there's going to be a countywide mobility task force to talk about the unmet needs just like that Dr. Kimberly, who lives barely 1 mile and not even 1.25 miles south of the city limits of Wyoming in Byron Township, and her life is so much more limited. If she was just on the other side, it doesn't have to be 1 foot on the other side of the city limit, she would have Go Bus that goes to 10 o'clock at night. Heidi will probably chime in on the chat to tell us the exact time the last pickup of Go Bus in the evening is, but it definitely goes into the evening. Heidi was sending chats about the need for sensitivity training, including sensitivity training on our local paratransit, because she said they broke her Amigo twice this year. So, well, and then Heidi said, but Rick was paying $350 a day, but that was to go all the way to Lansing. But again, $350 for a round trip to Lansing is pretty darn expensive.
It is.
As opposed to, you know, a bus ticket to Lansing's probably, I don't even want to guess what a bus ticket is, but it's way less than $350.
Oh, I don't know. It's only cost maybe $100, not even $100 if you take a car. You get somebody to drive you.
Right. See, that's the challenge. You've got to find somebody to drive. And that's, as you pointed out, though, Dr. Kimberly, that's the expense that it's like, oh, you can just drive, pick me up, and, you know, go do something else, and then, or drop me off, go do something else, pick me up. And it's like, no, that's not. Unfortunately, you got to pay for the driver the whole time. And so it's just we need a better system, and we're going to work on a better system. Other places that folks are listening to this show, I hope your transit's way better than it's here, and we're working on it getting here.
Well, so, inbox me and let me know, as many of you do after the show. You have so many comments and questions and concerns afterwards, but would love to have them now, and we can have that discussion. But the time is now 5:47, and we look forward to seeing you guys on next week as we start Women's History Month. And I believe the theme is still making history. We're still making history. I think Shana was the one who brought it up, that we're not going to go way back in the 1900s, but we're going to actually be in the 21st century of women who have done things that are notable, even if it's just figuring out how to live life on their own terms and can tell other people how to live a better life.
Well, and of course, it's like still making history. It's, barely getting started.
It's true. Because I was saying to someone the other day that, did you even know that there were women who were involved in helping to make the vaccine for COVID? And they said, no, the only person that we know about is Mr. Fauci. I laughed so hard. And when I thought about it, I said, you're right. That's the only name that you really heard during that time was Fauci this and Fauci that. And he really wasn't a part of, the making of the vaccine. He just ended up being this spokesperson.
But definitely that. And, when you would see Governor Whitmer, her chief medical person was a female doctor. Yep. And so a lot of leadership.
It really was. So again, you guys can tune into GRTV 25, and Rolling on the Road airs on Mondays at 2 p.m., Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m., and Thursdays at 8 p.m. And that's every single week. And if you go to their website, you'll see us listed on there. I'm like, oh my goodness, we're part of somebody's lineup. We've come a long way, baby. Virginia Slims.
Exactly. Virginia Slims.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. We've been talking before we got on the air today. We were reminiscing on some old TV shows and now TV commercials. And so we're going to keep rolling, folks.
We are. All right. We're going to go over here. We're going to say thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you for all of your chatter today, Heidi. It was always greatly appreciated. And we'll see you guys next week.